Oh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You may have caught a little bit of a soundbite there, but myself and Pulse are here to cast the third game in this best of three semi-final. This is the Cybergamer Steelseries Challenge, and we are in Champion Select as I speak. Pulse will be casting from the stream for the duration of Champion Select only, and here we go. We have got the bands coming out: Renekton, Thresh, and Nunu with Malphite as the thus far.
Yes, indeed, and yeah. Yep. So, Renekton will be banned out, Nunu, Thresh, pretty much blanket bans. They're pretty, yeah, they're standard. There's very little to say about that. I believe we saw Nunu in the first game, and then Malphite will be banned out as well. Very little we can say about these bans, but Irelia will be banned out. I wonder why, Spillington.
It might be something to do with how well Koi played him in that last game. Just taking out that cannon. Pretty much I think he won his lane, even though it's not an easy matchup to play, or there is definitely room for maneuvering and wiggling as that Irelia, but very, very difficult game for him, and still coming out really, really strong. Honestly, if he hadn't managed that double kill in that mid lane quite early on, that game could have gone very, very differently. That might have been the kind of start of the snowball there that ended up bringing them to victory. It was a very, very close game in the end, but does seem that we have got that targeted ban there. So yeah, going to be locking out that Irelia as an option. But we do, however, see some repeats from the previous games, but Jace, for the first time I think thus far, has slipped through the cracks.
Yes, indeed. If he's not banned out, he'll definitely be picked up. I don't think I've seen a game, definitely that I've casted, which hasn't had the Jace banned or picked for a good couple weeks. He's just, if he's open, you just have to pick him. He's just that good. Put him top, put him mid, and he just has such a strong laning phase against basically anyone. We saw a matchup the other day, Swillington. I believe it was Syndra versus Jace, and that went okay for Syndra because he could just farm it out. As a result, I believe Jace just farmed it out as well. Also had that strong AD carry and they just pushed to win. But having that range, having that ability to just keep him away from her, Syndra was able to not just get completely shut down. So that's the strength of that Jace. And very commonly seen with Elise as well, because they're such versatile picks.
Yeah, I'm just seeing right now though, Cplay are hovering over that middle, which would be kind of a statement of intent that they would be running a poke comp. They may be trying to steal that away from TCM, because if TCM have got that Jace, have got that Elise, have got that Nami, they have a lot of poking potential, a lot of kiting potential, and if they then were able to get that Nidalee as well, that could give them some really, really difficult to deal with kiting potential. It actually looks like Cplay are going to be going for this. They have got Nidalee and they have got Ezreal, so it's looking like poke comp, kite comp versus poke comp, kite comp.
Yeah, and the problem with this matchup, Spillington, is if we do get into this situation where it's kite comp versus kite comp, they'll just be firing at each other with long-range spells, and it is basically who can be the best at dodging and skill shots the game. Because we often refer to the Nidalee spear dodging minigame, and this has just opened it up to the entire team. So it'll be interesting when we do get that, because it's a matchup you don't really see. Generally you get like a poke comp versus like a hard engage composition, but this time it looks like it's going both ways. However, hovering over that Ashe looks like they want to bring in this hard engage to this game.
Yeah, and we will actually both teams, if they are going to be running kind of that poking, against that poking setup, will need some form of hard engage. Cplay already have it, they already have that Jarvan Flag and Drag Cataclysm, but then you can then have that Ashe, have that Nautilus, with those inescapable, well, Nautilus is inescapable, very difficult to escape, and Ashe are in the wrong place. So both teams now also have that potential. So they all kind of have that generalist style. They can now either engage or kite and do both pretty well. So the question actually now is if kind of which team is going to be better at like the split push setup, because both of them have very good compositions for that straight up engagement, for either engaging or disengaging. what is going to be their options for sort of other possibilities for what are the other strings to their bow, Pulse?
They have multiple ways of going about it. Nilly naturally is very good at split pushing, but split pushing is generally what you do when you're ahead because it makes it difficult for the opponent. In that, if you go for that engage, it's going to be 5 versus 5. If you have that teleport, we don't know what the summoners are just yet until we get onto the loading screen, but that can definitely be a massive possibility. The other thing is you can pressure them with those 4 people, making it impossible for them actually to engage, and because they have good kiting compositions, as we've already mentioned before, a definite possibility if we do have Cplay pulling ahead. Very different sort of playstyle from both teams, in fact, that was seen through the game so far. In fact, Zac has not been picked up, even though Zac hasn't been banned out, and that's generally what you expect to see. Instead, going for the picks that are quite kind of more, I'd say, solid, even though Zac is very strong in his own right. Kind of surprised we didn't see that coming out, but both of these teams going for something very specific.
Yeah, and we will see how that works out for them when they get into this game. We'll be in about 2 minutes and 38 seconds, and I say about rather liberally there, but we will be seeing what happens in 2 minutes 31 when this break is overdone. This break is over.
Hello and welcome back to the Cybergamer Steelseries LOL Challenge. We are currently in the second semi-final, and this will be the last game in the best of three we have today between Cplay and TCM. And just in a couple seconds, we might have an engage from Broken Shard. In fact, he's just going to back off, already putting a point into that Titan draft, so not committed to the dredge line. And looks like both teams don't really want this engage to happen, just kind of poking down those wards. But I am Pulse, I am joined by Spuddington. How's it going?
Pretty decent right now. It's going to be, I feel like at the moment the only thing that's going to happen of significance is that Kevco is going to try and put down some wards, just going to make sure they've got that vision control over the, well, everywhere. Just to, it's a nice thing you can do before minions are spawned, basically because your mana will regenerate before, it becomes actually important to have all your mana left. So you can actually lay out quite a few traps. One thing I like to do is actually just completely cover that bottom or top kind of brush with traps, and then you only need to start with one ward. Although the enemy jungler can still circle around, but it leaves them very few angling opportunities. Still, it does look like Kevco is feeling a little bit more fruity and is going to be putting one in that particular angle himself, so that if the enemy jungler walks around that banana brush to go behind him, he's going to have that vision, unless he's done something even fruitier than the Nidalee himself and just kind of gone all the way around and even around the brush itself.
Yeah, both teams may be picking up their five a day, but we will have JWild laning up against that Koi in top lane, and you would really regard both of those laners as lane bullies, so it'd be interesting to see who comes out ahead. Scrapseed will block some of that damage from the neurotoxin, and then the follow-up as well from Elise might be stymied by the Electro Harpoon. So we'll see how it works out, and it's probably a skill matchup more than anything. I feel that Elise might have a little bit of a problem getting some damage onto Koi early, but we'll see how it pans out. Meanwhile, we have Broken Child moving on to his blue buff with that Titan's Wrath, along with Riptide actually started with that red buff. Meanwhile, Nunez starts with the blue buff into the red buff. Flacken drags over the wall. He knows wards are around the area. Will that ward see him? Not entirely sure. Ping goes down onto both the blue and top lane, and he will just be walking straight through that ward. JWow's option right now is just to kind of waste some time, or even maybe engage onto Nunia with Nautilus heading on up.
Yeah, they are maybe looking to bait this out, but at the moment, Koi, well, actually, neither of them are going to hit level 2 to 3 ahead, but we have got the flag drag coming in. We've got the damage from Koi. It does seem like JWow just was not aware that Nunia was there, even though he'd walked right past the ward, but Broken Shard putting down some damage on Nunia. He has gone quite low. Red buff and Titan's Wrath together is a lot of hurt, but Koi will not get hooked, and it does look like JWow will just get away with his life. Flask is being popped, and Broken Shard is still in this lane. Koi has got to be very, very careful here. Broken Shard does have flash as well. He could go for this, does miss the anchor though, so it's just going to be Koi kind of messing with him, walking up, putting a bit of fire out there and stabbing him in the back with a spear.
Yeah, it was the result of Jarvan going into that brush, and then Broken Child throwing down the dredge line, and it was just like a Teemo away. However, Koi drops low, JWow engaging, Broken Child coming in once again. Flash comes down, dredge line will whip into the side. Flash comes down, JWow picking up that with a nice venomous bite. And in fact, the flash didn't come down, it was the repel. And so it still has those summons available to him.
Yeah, did use that ignite up, so he won't have quite as fearsome of an all-in potential, but he's actually not even going to need to go back. He's still got that flask stack available to him. By the time Rumble is back in, he'll probably be regenerated up to nearly full. And actually in bottom lane, I thought I saw something going on, but I didn't. So yeah, he's going to be pretty much set to go, and he's going to have a big experience advantage, going to have a big level advantage, and if he can get to a point where he is, two, maybe, maybe 2 levels ahead of Rumble, and it's going to make it really, really hard for Rumble to do anything. Plus, if you can freeze the lane where it is, it's going to make Rumble extremely vulnerable to ganks.
Yeah, for sure. So we have Jarvan moving down into the spot lane, has been warded in that tough to brush right next to that lane. In fact, Nunia will maybe be popping over the wall and then going all the way around. And yeah, he will indeed. So waiting for those cooldowns to come up. He's got 10 seconds on the flag, so he will be able to go for the engagement after that. He probably knows they haven't warded, and TCM are just kind of playing it as normal. So in a round, now, Nunia should be engaging. Maybe. Yeah,
the lane is pushing, so it could go really, really wrong if he takes too long, but he is now going to be going for it. Flag and drag is down, the flash comes out. Droco gets out very nicely, and a fish goes for a very long jump there.
Yeah, so the flash comes down, and at least they burnt one of the summons. It will give them some, an advantage in that all-in potential, and also stymieing the aggression from Matroco. So, in that sense, the Nunia has come out ahead in that gank. That being said, he is level 4, so how is he doing? He's about a third of the way through. Nautilus is on about halfway, so he needs his ganks to start paying off. He needs to start getting some kills so he can actually bring himself in contention, because if Broken Shard starts getting some levels and scales Jarvan, he gains a lot of damage from those levels, more than Jarvan does from items. So, in fact, not even going for a point in Golden Aegis, so he's really looking for these strong ganking potential and more the burst damage in these ganks.
Yeah, I think we can expect to see him pick up that Golden Aegis at least around level 8. By that point, he's probably going to have the damage that he wants, and is just going to be trying to settle into that kind of tank role, so having a little bit of a shield, having a little bit of an extra slow percent will be just a nice thing to have. We have the Belgian Beast getting very aggressive in this mid lane. Kevco now has been knocked back. We have got Broken Shard coming in around the side, but very nice play there. Actually does put some distance between, makes it very, very difficult, but he's going to be just kind of jumping around for quite a while here. Kind of just trying to keep himself out of that aggro range. We won't actually see the anchor toss coming up for another 3, 4, 5 seconds. Flash comes in. We've actually got the damage from Belgian Beast insufficient to take out Kevco. So very nicely played there. Jumped around quite a lot, but actually ended up making it really, really work for him. Kind of almost baiting out the anchor toss just so he could, well, make his very, very long and belated escape.
Yeah, meanwhile at top lane we did have an engagement on Sequoia from JWoww, but a good counter gank from Jarvan kept his ally alive, and as a result looks like he'll be maybe diving under this turret or just pushing in the tower. In fact, we'll just be backing off. JWoww clearing the creeps very, very efficiently. Meanwhile, because Jarvan is up top lane, Nautilus will be finishing off that blue buff, counter jungling that also, and then donating the blue buff of his own to Jace in the future. But that has hurt that mid lane from Nidalee as a result of saving Rumble top lane.
Yeah, she's going to be a little bit behind on experience as a result, but not too far, and is starting to trade quite okay with Kevco, but, with Belgian Beast there, but actually taking quite a beating in return. She does not yet have the blue buff, so she does not yet have that kind of infinite source of sustain, and in the top lane, Nunia going very, very low, possibly getting a little bit too aggressive, and we do see a little bit of harass in that bottom lane too. Again, nothing too serious. But it's definitely, Nunia definitely seems to feel that top lane is the place to gank at the moment.
Yeah, kind of just wants Rumble to have a good start, because he is a lane bully. If he wins his lane, he can just keep that one and then just carry on pushing and be in a very good position. At the moment, Rumble isn't having a great time. He's about two ways behind, and he's not as strong in trading potential. Has now got the equalizer, but JWoww is just able to duke out of that with or either slowing him or stunning him with that E, and then going in with the repel as well in the spider form, can easily get out of that equalizer and then drop in once again to re-engage, making it very difficult for Rumble really to do anything, especially when he's behind. So Jarvan just trying to give him the best start that he can, not quite panning out either way, but at least stopped him from completely bleeding out of that lane. As a result, he did lose that blue buff, and I guess that's why he was so aggressive up the top, wanted something to happen.
Yeah, but right now, if he goes to that top lane, that would cost him quite dearly, I suspect, because TCM are looking towards this dragon. And it actually looks like both teams are kind of suspecting that the other might be doing the dragon there. We did see a couple of pings coming in, and we do actually now see Nautilus heading towards this mid lane. We do have a Nidalee going to be potentially wanting to ward that bottom brush. We do have Broken Shard coming in. He's in Cougar form already. Depth Charge comes down. He wants to try and put the distance between him, but if Kevco can get on the other side of him, he doesn't actually manage to do so immediately, but the anchor comes down. The red buff is on. The damage is coming down, but he might be able to turn this around. Does not manage to do so. Flash from Broken Shard will put the distance between them, and he does manage to at least force that flash, but Belgian Beast actually now in a potentially dangerous situation. Not enough damage from Jarvan, though. He's not going to be able to take him out.
Yeah, after the flag and drag, even with the auto attack follow, it wouldn't be enough with the Cataclysm coming in as well, especially with Nautilus just around the backside, didn't want to engage on that. So, meanwhile at top, Koi is kind of just feeling the burn of Elise, and Jarvan can't carry on just being in that top lane because Dragon becomes a more and more appealing prospect. Plus mid lane and the pressure being exerted by bottom lane needs to start doing things all over the board, because they are just kind of slightly being pushed in. Jarvan, as a result, is looking for that gank down at bot lane. Pink ward has gone down, and it just results in Matroco and Phalanx just backing off and recalling.
You know, I'm actually a little bit surprised that we haven't seen too many ganks in this bottom lane right now, because you'd think with the amount of CC from with the Nautilus walking in, with the Ice Arrow, with the bubble and the tidal wave from Nami, you'd think they might have been able to make something happen by now, but doesn't look like that's kind of been on the cards. Just doesn't seem like they've ever been able to quite find the right opportunity. But this dragon is now being contested. Should just go down before anyone could get in range. In fact, it's pretty much guaranteed to do so. Broken Shard just is not going to be able to get there in time. He could flash over like instantly and smite it, but he doesn't have the vision. He didn't even know they could be doing it, and so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it worked out really well for Cplay in the end, because even though they didn't get that gank down the bot lane, it was kind of like, well, he's ganking, might as well just back up. But meanwhile, on mid, the gank comes down, Dredgeline connects straight into the staggering blow, and the ultimate, the depth charge. Belgian Beast following up with the damage, and the thundering blow, along with the overtime damage from Titan's Wrath, finishes that one off quite easily, and that was a kill reclaimed for that Drake. Meanwhile, bot lane looks like Nunia looking to get aggressive onto that bot lane. Intox following up, but they do have Broken Shard coming in from behind, looking for this re-engagement. Dredgeline lands onto a minion, got that minion. He is definitely being caught, and Nunia now gets taken down with the staggering blow. Intox now being chased on underneath the turret. Belgian Beast doesn't quite get the acceleration gate, but Cerner will drop in all that fighting. Nunia now gets taken out by Belgian Beast with the flash straight into that standard combo in that melee form, and currently 6-0 right for TCM, and a Drake just didn't quite pay off with the rest of the team getting caught out.
You've got to say actually right now that TCM, like Broken Shot, has been doing a lot of work. He's been making a lot of ganks happen in the last couple of minutes, and that's been incredibly good for him. By the way, Rumble did drop to Elise just straight up one-on-one in that top lane while that big fight was going on lower down. It gave her that confidence to just get aggressive. So now there's a tower falling. Now there's a very significant gold difference. 3,000 gold at this stage is pretty big. That is going to make it very, very difficult to deal with this this kind of team comp. But they do have a lot of tools to prevent a hard kind of pushing style. Cplay have got that Equalizer, which can clear waves instantly. They've got that Ezreal, which can clear waves almost instantly. They've got Nidalee that can spear down individual minions. You know, they've got really, really good stalling potential. And if they get engaged upon another tower, they've got really good counter engage. So there's a lot of potential for them to just stall out, even if they do fall behind a little bit. But we do see Broken Shard now moving in towards that bottom lane. TT Index could be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, Intox actually gets immediately caught out by Broken Shard, and the follow-up from the Acro Prison results in a very easy kill. Ward goes down, and they have bought a lot of wards from the entirety of that Cplay lineup, but it's just not working for them. Broken Shard is everywhere right now and just picking up the kills all over the map. Nuni now moving on to his red buff. He just can't do enough. If he leaves top lane, Elise immediately engages onto Rumble and probably kills him. Rumble can't really do anything in that top lane. And if he actually goes to that top lane, then the rest of the map is exposed. Nidalee is actually feeling the pinch of those Nautilus ganks. Bot lane actually had the Drake exposed before, but he did pick that one up. So that's not too much of an issue right now, and it's just difficult. There's too many lanes going badly for Jarvan to juggle all at once.
And that's kind of, you always get into this trap as a jungler sometimes, where you're just too behind. Like, you become behind, so you're not able to make as much happen when you do gank, and you're behind, so your team is behind, and then you have too many places to be at once. But Koi is now looking to make something happen in this top lane, has put down the Equalizer, stun comes out from JWoww, doesn't actually land it, but Repel is up. We've got JWoww actually there, coming down quite early, I think. Maybe could have done that Repel for a little bit longer, but Koi is going to be kiting this away, using that shield. JWoww now just wants that kill if he can get it, but Koi is actually now being forced away from his tower. He is going to be getting JWoww getting aggressive for him, has got that flash coming down. We've got Nunia getting picked up there, and Kevco is in from the side, but he's in an all-in situation he really doesn't want to be in. Angry man in a suit and an angry man in a different kind of suit going to be going aggressive on him, but he will get out. He is a cat, and that makes him fast, because cats are fast.
Indeed, and he will be good to go. So that was a 1-for-1 trade with just a cavalry arriving from both teams, and it was just like very clutch plays, and it was just like, damage from everywhere. And meanwhile, bot lane, tower goes down, so we do have just advantages being picked up by TCM all over the board. No matter what they do from Cplay's perspective, is they still just kind of lose out in one way or another. 4k behind right now, Broken Shard coming in from behind, making sure that Kevco can't actually re-engage and actually gets engaged by himself. The Flag and Drag comes down now from Nunia, Flash comes out from Broken Shard, following with the spear as well, chipping off a small part of Broken Shard, but they will just be pushing that one back. So they are just being ground down all over the board, and it's what can they do to stop the bleeding? You mentioned they have a strong stalling potential, but they can't stall when they're so disparate and all over the map.
Yeah, that's part of their problem right now. But I've got to be saying, actually, Koi has held onto his tower fairly well considering how far behind he is at the moment. However, that difference is only really increasing with time at the moment, and that could become a serious problem for him. Once he's at level 11, though, he's going to be a serious threat. Once again, that Equalizer has incredibly high base damage, so ranking it up very, very valuable to him. But if he doesn't manage to get that before this gank comes in from Nunia, then it could be a bad thing. He won't have quite as much damage in this situation. The Equalizer does come down. He's going in with the Flame Spitter. Is going to be taking a lot of damage in return. Has overheated, but JWoww actually tries to kind of juke his way out and just get smacked in the face by that spear lance sword thing of Jarvan's, which is just going to be saying, yeah, thank you very much. I don't even know why you didn't try to kill Rumble.
Yeah, so picking up a kill win return, so that was what they wanted. Rumble really wants to be in a good position so they can engage well in these team fights. So basically, it's do they want a team fight? That's the next question. They're in a good position. They have enough on their cards to make a team fight happen and make a team fight go well. They have enough damage, they have the right sort of ultimates and composition for it. It's whether they just want to group up and make something happen when TCM are ahead, but if they stay in these lanes, they're probably just going to fall behind anyway. Kefko moving around the corner found himself a Jace, and it will be TCM moving on to this Drake. The question is, do they want to go for this team fight? That's what we've been talking about. In fact, they do want to engage. Nunu coming in with the ultimate, in with the crescendo as well. Moving in with that depth charge, will be landing onto Chantal, and the shutdown comes up from Jace. Too much kite coming out. Nunu now following up onto that broken charge. Follow up with the flag and drag from that flash, and the auto attacks coming down as well. Doesn't have the red buff to continue with that chase. Fantastic spear picks up the kill from Kefko. JWoww now coming in from bot lane, along with Rumble as well, just in a couple seconds. Another spear landing, pushing them back. And Nuni on the back line looking to cut off that Ashe. At least from over the wall, might be able to catch out Nunia, but with the rest of Cplay hanging around, not a real possibility. JWoww actually moving on to Intox, bursting him down in a heartbeat. Drops very low, but actually keeping himself alive. The heal lands as well. And JWoww now backing off. The Aqua Prison comes down, and the Equalizer coming out. Could have been slightly low, but doesn't even matter. Kefko landing another beautiful spear. And that was just 3 kills in quick succession. And looks like they'll pick up the Drake on the back of that as well.
And those really messy fights like that, those are so good for a Nidalee. She is so good at picking people off. She keeps giving out those important heals, keeping the right people alive. When these fights go really, really long, really, really messy around a large kind of area, that is just a Nidalee heaven because she is able to pick up so many kills. And with that gold injection from her, she's going to be starting to get really quite scary. It does look like she might be rushing a Zhonya's Hourglass, which does actually make a lot of sense given what they're up against, given they're against, you know, that Nautilus ultimate potential, given up against that Ashe ult potential. So that will actually make her a lot safer. Will mean her damage won't be quite as explosive as you might expect sometimes, but I do like that choice there for Nidalee. Does mean that she's going to have to rely on her team a little bit more for the damage, but she's still going to poke hard, she's still going to be a threat, and she is still going to have to be a little bit careful of Jace, actually, who is not going to be able to make any huge amount of damage happen there.
Yeah, so after that 3 to 4k advantage, it's now only 500, and those spears are starting to hurt indeed. The Tear of the Goddess is actually on maximum stacks from Kefko. How much gold does he have to play with? 1,700, so he might be able to finish off that Guardian Angel, the Archangel staff, which is a massive thing for him. But JWoww actually finds himself coy, actually turning up on the round, going with the Volatile Smiling straight into that standard combo. JWoww still following after, overheated Koi backs off, but Jarvan coming in from the side as well. Fallback ping comes down, and meanwhile mid tower does come in return for TCM, but it looks like they will be following up onto JWoww in this situation where he might be able to move on to Koi. Actually uses him as a point, focal point to jump onto with that repel. Still trying to get out of here. Those minions will just be onto the side, stopping those skill shots from landing. The flag and drag comes in. Koi now following up, and the ignite comes down. 1-for-1 trade. Broken Shot now comes in with the rest of his team. Belgian Beast and Phaelox. Nunia now finds himself in a nasty position. Drags him out of the Aqua Prison though. Intox now coming in. Flag and drag over the wall. The tidal wave comes in along with the depth charge. Now with all the poke coming in from Kefko and Chantal. But we have Sona finding himself caught with that dredge line. and that will be another kill. In fact, that wasn't the dredge line, they just killed her. And that will be a 3-for-1 trade, and all of a sudden, now TCM picking up the pace once again in this mid lane.
However, they aren't really taking that many objectives off it, and this is the stall coming in. You saw Matroco there was looking to push down that lane, but then suddenly took a spear, and so that kind of flips the switch. Suddenly, can I push? Yes, I can. Suddenly, I've lost 50% of my health. Actually, no, I'd rather go back now. And in fact, if anything, Cplay are the ones in danger, kind of potentially able to push down towers here. They are the ones getting aggressive here. We do see Broken Shard over the wall. He does have flash. No depth charge though. JWoww goes in, looks for the stun, does put down the volatile spiderling, and this will be continued pressure coming down. Spear comes out, doesn't land. We are seeing this aggression on the tower, and it goes down. And the Shock Blast answers, but it's just not enough to say, no, by comparison to these spears. So you've got to say, actually, Cplay seem to have the better composition, at least for this stage of the game.
Yeah, it just seems to be back and forth. Even though they picked up those kills, Cplay just still have that ability to be aggressive. And the key point about Cplay as a team is they are making that decision to be aggressive. Most teams, after losing all those kills, would just be like, well, better just back off. But Cplay know how strong they are in this stage of the game, and are just carrying on the aggression. Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes down, and Broken Shard following up as well. Dredge Line lands onto the wall. Intox finds himself caught out by Belgian Beast, flashes over the wall. Koi now finds himself caught straight into the skies. Now JWoww coming in from the side. The damage just nukes him down in a heartbeat. Double kill comes out for Jace. And now this is a good position either to go for Baron or this middle turret. Looks like they are dithering over either of them, but looks like they will be moving on to this mid turret. 22 minutes in, and with Broken Shard being fairly low, doesn't look like they want to quite go onto it just yet. But this will be the tower in return.
Yeah, the Spiderlings actually are tanking that tower at the moment. Belgian Beast are now getting the aggro. There aren't many creeps here, so they're actually ending up juggling damage, almost as if they were doing Baron. But I think they decided that if they did do that Baron then, they would be risking getting the Nidalee Spears at the worst moment, and then suddenly either getting the Baron itself stolen, or getting someone killed, and that's just not something they wanted to go with. They just wanted to make sure they played it safe. However, Broken Shard is now being prevented from recalling, and I kind of wonder if that's going to open up a small timing window here. Cplay did let themselves get engaged upon in that last fight though, and that is not what they want. They cannot allow that to keep happening, but they are going to take out that mid tower, just not letting stuff happen for free. Matroco gets locked down, no spear lands, but they are going to be chasing this down. Kevco is able to catch up very soon, will have the damage to take him down, I'm sure. Getting him with the Q, getting him with the W, will get that kill. And again, Cplay they lose, and then they just kind of come back and turn it around.
Yeah, it was a fantastic time push, immediately followed up by the Ash pick, which was just in the right place in the right time for them, means they can now put the pressure down onto bot lane. The inhibitor doesn't seem so enticing because they don't really have that potential to just carry on that deep in, especially with the damage coming out from the inhibitor's turret. Outer turret makes a lot more sense. They could go for that top turret, but such a long way away from that mid, might as well look for the siege down at bot lane. Decent wave clear, however at the same time, JWoww and Belgian Beast have the ability to clear out these waves, clear out the mini waves and put down harassment of their own. Ward goes over the wall, and it's just a poking fight has commenced from both of these teams. Ash is currently up, moving into this fight. Broken Shard lands the dredge line straight onto that wall. Noonie now in a bad position. Koi trying his best, but backing off. Flag and Drag comes down, it still gets caught by the tidal wave. Dredge line lands once again, now following on to Intox, gets caught out by that Cocoon, now following up, picks up a kill immediately, re-engagement by Koi, overheated however, JWoww drops low, Spear lands onto the backside of Nami, another kill goes down, 2 for 0 so far, JWoww dropped very low, Noonie very low as well, but Broken Shard gets picked up with that takedown from Nidalee, double kill comes out with that Spear, evening up to a 2 for 2, and both teams will just back on out.
Good turnaround right at the end there. That was a bad fight for Cplay in general. They were definitely losing it, but then Kevco comes in and aware he's out of mana, doesn't bother switching to human form to pick up the kill, does just bait in Broken Shard to the brush, who gets bursted down by the takedown damage, which is obviously an execute, and that makes it incredibly strong for that kind of clutch situation at the end, and then following that up to take out another kill as well. So it was a 2 for 2 overall. Does show how hairy it can get. And these fights at the moment, though, are working out for Cplay. They are kind of able to kite them around, and it does seem like Nidalee is going to get more and more fed as this game goes on. She is just really doing a lot of damage. Spears at this point, she's got that Rabadons and that Void Staff. I can't check how much damage the spears do because the spectator client won't let me though.
Indeed, but it just seems like if TCM can't get an engagement and then just lock them up and make sure they stay in that engagement, we just have Cplay just constantly kiting them. But if Koi finds himself caught, Dredgeline lands straight into the cocoon as well, Volatile Sparkling and the Venomous Bite as well, Broken Shard landing that with a nice little auto attack at the end to snag that kill. And currently 16-9, they are ahead in kills, but only 1k ahead in gold. Towers are completely even, they will find themselves without a rumble and reduce team fighting potential as a result.
Yeah, so spears at the moment are doing about 1,000 damage, pretty much exactly as far as I can remember. But we are seeing this pressure coming in on the top tower. TCM actually going to be able to take that objective for free, and that is the problem with having Koi really not doing well at all. He is down on CS, down on kills, down on experience. He is not doing well. Ice Arrow comes in, does actually whiff though. We've actually got the Hanker coming in though. Kepko is going to get locked down. He is going to get taken out, and that's key in this fight. There will be the re-engage coming in from Nunia, but Nunia is just in there with no hope of getting out, but does pick up Broken Shard. Broken Shard taking a lot of tower shots for the sake of his team, but this does leave them open for this pressure. Koi is very weak, does get busted down, and now we have Shantao looking to maybe get some poke in, but he's honestly not able to put down the damage to take these guys out. He will have his ultimate available in about 20 seconds. Unfortunately, by that point, this tower is likely to be on half health or less. There is a shot blast coming in, there's a stun coming down, Neurotoxin, Angry Jace go rah with hammer, and now we have damage coming on this tower from the full minion wave. I said half health, but I think by the time anyone manages to get here, their whole inhib is going to be gone.
Yeah, that was just a pick after a pick after a pick, and it resulted in a tower, and then an inhib. They just couldn't do quite enough to stop themselves from being kited. We said before, in fact, I was just saying before we went into that team fight, they can't get a solid engagement off and then actually get those kills down, then the team of Cplay are just able to immediately just carry on kiting. They can't quite catch up. What happened there is because they had objectives to fight over, they had to fight over them. So TCM just actually picked up on that, actually caught them out while they were trying to kite them, and that resulted in a kill after a kill. And that has put them in a good position right now. About 5k ahead, they've opened up that gold gap once again as a result of most of those towers. On top of the inhib, going to make it very difficult to fight over Baron if they choose to do so.
So now, we're actually in a state. The gold difference is surprisingly small right now. Cplay are a little bit ahead, but they're not in the best state. And wait, did I just see... No, I didn't. I thought I saw a Muramana... Okay, it was a Muramana proc... No, it wasn't. I swear I saw a Muramana proc coming out of... coming out of Cplay there. Plock. Do you not like plocks? Have you never encountered plocks?
Sounds like a disease, honestly. I'll be honest.
Well, it's because it sounds like pox, which is a disease. But... well, like Pax Romana? No.
Kind of like Plox, but like you expect it to be Skittles. Like Skittles of pox.
What, so you just get Skittles like coming out of your skin? And then... That does sound like quite a horrific disease.
Edible, though, really, would they? Let's be honest.
No, but nor a pox. Oh, well, I don't know, actually. Have you ever tried eating pox?
Have you tried?
Yeah, so anyway, poking continues anon. Both teams are looking to get an advantage, and then from that to kind of turn it around. If you can get that Ice Arrow, though, that is going to be the key thing. TCM had that capacity to engage from huge range, except they actually caught Nunia out with Broken Shard himself. Just a little bit of damage, though, and there's a lot of sustain on the side of Cplay, so I don't think they are actually going to be too concerned that he just got bled a little bit. He's popping a pot, and I'm surprised he still has one at this stage of the game, but it does feel like Cplay may have been outmaneuvered here. This push is coming in on the bot lane.
Yeah, as you said, outmaneuvered. They are putting down the damage onto this bot lane. Whether they can get there in time to defend it or whether they want to go straight for this initiate is another issue. However, Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands straight onto Koi, follow with the tidal wave as well. Koi drops very low, immediately gets picked up. Following from Nunia, Flag and Drag comes down straight into Cataclysm. Following with the damage from the Shock Blast straight for the acceleration gate, hits the minions, but that will mean that Cplay are now forced back into their turret. Jaywar dropped very low, re-engagement from Nunia, not sure if they wanted, but Broken Shard now dropping low, re-engaging with the Dredge line, taking a huge amount of damage from those tower hits, but they will be forced to back off. Meanwhile in mid lane, with the super minions wailing down onto those Nexus turrets, and we do have TCM just backing off, picking up this blue buff. Drake isn't up, but this is giving them a lot of maneuverability around the rest of the map.
Yeah, it does look like TCM may actually be thinking... No, they're not thinking that Dragon is coming up soon. They are just going to clear it out of wards just in case that it does come up soon. That's Rabadon's Death Cap on Elise pickup. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. You don't usually see that on Elise because she's normally built much tankier, just relying on Magic Pen and her base values for her damage. But it will give her more burst. She will be a scarier threat to someone like Shantou. Shantou will not have the... I think he may be capable of 100-0ing Shantou with that amount of AP on him. And that is going to be scary. You don't want to have to deal with the Spider, which 100-0s you and also has that repel. So it's looking not so great for Cplay right now. Broken Shard is actually... someone just went low. Belgian Beast went very, very low. Got a lot of poke. I think it was probably just a spear. We've actually got the arrow coming in. Does hit Intex. Intex now going to be getting dragged in with the arrow. The arrow, the anchor. The equalizer comes down looking for the disengage, but Intex is in a lot of trouble. Has been stunned up. Has been going low, low. Does get taken out by the volley there. And now we have Nunia going into the back line, but not being able to do anything. Does Cataclysm in 3 people, but it does look like this is a bad situation. Cplay getting locked up. Cplay's Koi getting knocked down. And now we have Shantou looking for this fight to end, actually. I think he's kind of running for his life. But this is leaving Nidalee solo to try and defend this tower, and I don't think she's really going to be able to do that very easily. Might be able to take out Phylox if only one errant spear lands, though. It does also potentially leave open the Baron for TCM, but it doesn't look like they're going to do it, and it does look like JWoww is going to deploy tactical spider shields.
Yeah, in fact, very, very good against Nidalee poke in this type of situation. Kevko just going to mop up the rest of those minions, but those 3 picks would... the opposite of what Cplay wanted. Currently about 6k and almost 7k behind right now. They need to just try and get some sort of play to happen. With 2 inhibs down, that makes it increasingly difficult, especially if they want to make some sort of play around Baron. Most likely TCM will try and siege bot lane if they can't quite make that happen, if they can't quite make those picks happen like they happen so nicely in that mid lane following from a fantastic Ash arrow from Matroco. Then they'll just go into Baron, and it makes it difficult from Cplay because it's kind of an all-in tactic. Because with that inhib down in the mid lane, top inhib has in fact respawned. It still means that they'll have super minions pushing down that mid lane, and it's a time bomb. They have to contest and make sure they win that team fight and win the Baron, and then be back in time to delete those minions down in mid lane. So it gives TCM a lot of pressure to exert.
And Broken Shard did just manage to succeed where Scar has failed and ward over the wall into that Tri-Brush area. However, yeah, that time bomb problem is going to be serious for Cplay. However, they do have quite a good contest in that they have a lot of poke. So if someone is doing Baron and they take a Nidalee Spear, that could suddenly mean they actually end up keeling over dead. It does feel like TCM are baiting this out, but they don't know there's a ward in there. I think they may have checked this before and been like, yes, we know what's going on, and then are actually being called out. But maybe they're just looking to draw people in. JWoww certainly will now spot that ward, will take it out, and I just hit something stupid on the spectator overlay, so I can't see a damn thing. And we've actually now got Intex in a lot of trouble, getting the equalizer put down across Broken Shard. The ultimate comes in from Ezreal. We've now got Nunia getting pulled in, getting very, very low. Tidal Wave comes across, as does the depth charge, and now Shantou is trying to put damage over the wall on Broken Shard, but he just doesn't have the damage to take anyone out. We don't have the poke from Kevko to take anyone out, and it does feel like that hard engage has just worked out very, very well for TCM.
Yeah, what TCM were able to do right there is just get that engagement out, and that was a fantastic shot blast for Acceleration Gate, as he'd already walked past the Acceleration Gate. They will be now moving on to this bot inhibitor, probably going to the top one, but do they really need it? That's probably a no. They just need to go for those Nexus turrets. Only person alive is, well, the 2 people alive is Nidalee and Ezreal, but in fact just going to go ahead and surrender. They felt that that was the end of the game anyway. So well played to both teams, but TCM actually coming out on top 2-1 in this best of 3 in the semi-finals, and I believe the finals are either tomorrow or over the weekend.
I have absolutely no idea, so I am just going to have to see if I can ask Bass. So if you have anything to plug it now.
Yes, indeed. So this will be, well, approaching the end of the stream, at which point we like to plug everything. So, Spuddington, are you finding out stuff, or can you plug your things?
Well, I can plug my things if you want. I know you've already asked Bass, although whether Bass responds is another thing entirely, so he may or may not. But if you've liked my casting, me, myself, and I, that is me, I am Spuddington. You can find some links in the channel. No, we're actually done for the day, the person in chat. Yeah, so, if you liked my casting, you can follow me at twitter.com/Spuddington, which is at Spuddington if you're a Twitter person. Also, facebook.com/Spuddington casts. And Pulse, I believe you also have some things.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Impulsible. If you want to follow me, thank you. If you want to follow me,
Producer laughing.
Yeah, I doubt you can hear him, but it's sometimes quite distracting when you have your producer just laughing in your ear. But you have facebook.com/watchyourpulse along with youtube.com/watchyourpulse. So once again, that's at Impulsible. Anyway,
well, I haven't got much else to say, to be honest.
I was just going to say, that's basically the end of the stream. Anything to add, Swington, before we close it off?
Not really. Well played to TCM. They will be moving on to the finals. Beyond that, not much to say. They will be facing a Nexus, I guess. That is the other thing to say. So it will be a Nexus versus TCM. So that should be a doozy whenever that game actually happens. Unfortunately, still haven't received word back on when the finals are because I have no organization. Didn't think about this beforehand. Still, was very good games to watch. And I believe if you want to watch the replays of this, I don't know if we'll be doing reruns, but we will have the VODs on YouTube probably. What are you saying, Robin?
No.
But not today. So, no worries. Anyway. Yeah, no. Okay. Shut up, Robin. Anyway, I think with that, we're done here. Can't think of anything else to say. Pulse, final word.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for joining the stream and making everything happen. So apart from that, we will see you next time.